If there were 6 days of creation and 1 day of rest, then it stands to reason that the act of creating for those 6 days required effort. So much effort so that the Lord of hosts, the creator of all the world, needed a day to rest. Some thoughts on AI today. I came across Paulo Coelho. You probably may have heard of them or not, but Paulo Coelho is a Brazilian author who wrote the famous novel in 1988, The Alchemist, which is about a man who is on the search for worldly treasure and obviously has many life lessons through this. And the quote that I came across, which began my research into this idea, was, quote, "The reward of our work is not what we get, but what we become." The reward of our work is not what we get, but what we become, by Paulo Coelho. I think this is absolutely the whole idea of that your life is the process of growing. The value of life, the value of experiences, the value of goals, the value of creating, the value of living is experiencing the process. If we were to go meta level, some would say that the universal consciousness has partitioned itself and abstracted itself in 8 billion different ways into different human beings so that the universal consciousness can experience the multiplicity of lives that can be fulfilled and experienced in life. And that the reward of the work of those lives is not what we get, but rather what we become. So you might say, okay, what's the point here? Well, you guys know that as a venture capitalist, I spend an exorbitant amount of time doing diligence and research on technologies, startups, founders, ideas, so that we can make informed decisions and deploy capital effectively well into high return on investments. And that's the whole point. And I've been spending a ton of time in AI, clearly, as you guys well know. You know, one of the things that I've been noodling on is that AI, in all of its power, in all of its immense eye-opening and world-opening and creative opening opportunities that AI brings to the world, is this. AI eliminates the process of creation and the challenges of creation, removing the human spirit, overcoming the creative process, is what I wrote down right here. I sat on this and I noodled on this for at least a good 15 minutes. Like, that's why I'm writing these notes down, which is so amazing. You see, the act of creation takes time. And the act of creation takes intentionality. In many cases, the act of creation is a struggle. It's a human struggle of amalgamating ideas, putting things together, trial and error, executing and learning through doing, right? Analysis paralysis has no value here. We learn by doing. And this is very much Scrum and Agile. And don't miss this point, though, that I wrote down. AI is eliminating the process of creation. So, if I were to dig into that, if AI is removing or eliminating the process of creation, I could go as far as to say that AI is removing the soul of the creative experience, the soul of the creative process, destroying the soul of the challenges of creating and building and making out of nothing. It's almost as if AI sees the act of creation as a time-wasting inconvenience. Now that we have AI, we can simply say, okay, great. We have AI. Build this for me. Create this for me. Abstract this thing for me. Test this thing for me. Build this thing for me. Run this experiment for me. And no longer do we as humans, we are extracted from that process. We We are limited to the results that the AI gives us. And those results might be grand. They might fit the form and function that we need, but it'll always miss that human element of emergent creativity that AI could never have come up with by themselves. And so, once again, AI, in my estimation, from my notes and noodling last night, is eliminating the process of creation, thereby eliminating the soul of the challenges of creation and removing the human spirit, overcoming the human process of creating and building anew. And AI, therefore, sees the act of creation as a time-wasting inconvenience. And to finalize it up, I wrote here, it's almost like we have commoditized creation. You know, my thoughts wander as I sit here and think about this, about the 7 days of creation given to us in Genesis in the Holy Bible. Now, there are many other different stories and narratives and stories and narratives around the creation of the world and the creation of this universe. But if we just stick on that, there were 6 days of creation and there was 1 day of rest. If there were 6 days of creation and 1 day of rest, then it stands to reason that the act of creating for those 6 days required effort. So much effort so that the Lord of hosts, the creator of all the world, needed a day to rest. And this is the crux of my argument, is that creation requires intentionality, effort over time. And if AI has commoditized the creation process, in which we are no longer part and parcel of the creative process itself, then AI is quickly and swiftly removing the soul of the creative process. Some thoughts on this day. What do you guys say? Let me know. Is AI at a meta level going too far? Is it destroying the creative process and the soul of the creative experience? I wonder. I really do. And I wonder what the ramifications are generations out. Stay frosty, my friends.